The Hunter and the Fox. In a rugged cabin at the forest edge, where the wind carried the sharp scent of pine and the ground was carpeted with fallen needles, a weathered hunter named Torin lived with his bright-eyed daughter, Alara. She was 10, with a cascade of chestnut hair and eyes that still held the echo of her mother's laughter. The woman had been taken by a cruel, lingering illness just months before. The cabin was simple, its wooden walls patched with moss, its roof sagging under the weight of too many winters. But it was home, a place filled with memories of better days. Food was scarce that year, a brutal shortage that gripped the land like a vice. Rabbits, once plentiful, had vanished into burrows deeper than anyone could reach. Berries withered on their bushes, shriveling into bitter husks, and the river that wound through the valley ran so low that its pebbles gleamed like bones under the weak sun. Each dawn, Torin grabbed his worn rifle, its barrel scratched from years of use, and trudged into the woods, his boots crunching on frostbitten leaves. He returned each evening with less: a scrawny squirrel, a handful of mushrooms, his face lined deeper with worry, his shoulders stooped under the weight of failure. Alara tried to help, her small hands setting crude snares with twigs and vines, or gathering whatever herbs she could find, dandelion roots, wild garlic, but it was never enough. Her stomach growled at night, a pitiful sound that mingled with the howl of the wind, and she often woke Torin with tears, asking, "When will it be better, Daddy?" He had no answer. Deep in the same forest, where shadows danced and the air hummed with secrets, lived a sly red fox named Vixen, her fur a blaze of crimson against the gray trunks. She was sleek but hungry, her ribs showing faintly beneath her coat, and she cared for her cub, Russet, a playful bundle of russet fur with bright black eyes that sparkled with mischief. Like Torin and Alara, they faced the same scarcity, but Vixen had a secret weapon. She discovered a hidden grove, a sunlit clearing so small and tucked away that only a creature as nimble as a fox or as slight as a child could reach it. The grove was a paradise, clusters of apples hanging heavy on gnarled branches, plump purple berries nestled in thorny bushes, carrots and roots buried in the rich soil, and nuts scattered like treasure. It was their lifeline, guarded fiercely by Vixen's sharp senses and quick paws. One crisp morning, as autumn's chill deepened and the trees shed their last golden leaves in a mournful cascade, Torin made a decision. "You're old enough now," he told Alara, his voice rough but laced with a father's hope, as he handed her a small, handmade bow, its string taut and its limbs carved from ash. "Time you learn to hunt." Alara nodded, her eyes wide but determined, clutching the bow like a lifeline. That same day, Vixen led Russet out, her tail swishing as she taught him to sniff for the faintest scent of prey, to listen for the rustle of wings, to dodge the snapping twigs that could betray their position. Their paths crossed at the forest edge, where the trees stood like sentinels under a sky bruised with gray clouds. The ground was littered with pine cones and brittle leaves, and the air carried the promise of snow. Torin raised his rifle, the metal cold against his palm, and with a sharp, echoing click, he cocked it. Vixen froze, her golden eyes locking onto Alara. In that gaze was more than fear. It was a plea, a desperate spark that said, "Help me, please." Alara saw it too, her heart skipping a beat. "No, Daddy, no! Don't shoot her!" she cried, her voice piercing the stillness as she stepped in front, her small frame a fragile shield between her father and the fox. Torin hesitated, his finger trembling on the trigger, the weight of survival battling the trust he had in his daughter's instincts. But before he could decide, Vixen acted. With a swift, gentle nip, she grabbed Alara's pant leg, not to harm, but to pull. Her teeth were careful, catching only fabric, and Alara stumbled, surprised but unhurt, her bow clattering to the ground. Vixen tugged her toward the trees, her movements urgent but not aggressive, glancing back with eyes that seemed to say, "Follow, trust me." Torin lowered his rifle, bewildered, his breath fogging in the cold air, but he followed, his instincts warring with his trust in Alara. Behind them, Russet scampered, his little paws pattering on the earth, his tail a blur of excitement. Vixen led them through thick brambles that scratched at their clothes, over hidden roots that threatened to trip them, and under low-hanging branches that whispered secrets in the breeze. The forest grew denser, the light dimmer, until they reached the grove. There, under a canopy of golden leaves that filtered the sunlight into a warm glow, lay a feast. Clusters of apples so red they looked painted, plump purple berries glistening with dew, carrots and roots peeking from the soil like buried jewels, and nuts scattered like coins. The air was sweet with their scent, and the ground was soft, carpeted with moss that cushioned their steps. Alara gasped, her eyes widening with wonder, and even Torin's stern face softened, the lines of worry easing as he murmured, "This is how you've survived." He realized then that the fox wasn't just prey, she was a guardian, a keeper of life in a dying land. From that day they shared the grove. Torin and Alara never hunted Vixen or rusted again, their rifles and bows staying silent, and the fox family never feared them. Through the long, bitter winter, when snow blanketed the forest and the wind howled like a grieving ghost, the grove sustained them all. Alara and Resset even became friends, their laughter ringing through the trees as they played near the cabin, building snow forts or chasing after falling flakes. Torin and Vixen kept a cautious watch, their eyes meeting sometimes in a silent acknowledgement, a pact forged in hunger, fear, and a child's compassion. By spring, the forest recovered, green shoots pushing through the melting snow, and the rivers swelled with fresh, clear water. But the bond remained, stronger than the seasons, a silent promise between human and fox, woven into the roots of the Sparkle Woods. And so, they thrived, their stories intertwining like the branches overhead, a testament to survival, trust, and the unexpected magic of connection. The end.